Good morning and welcome to the Naples Money Managers News You Can Use. I am Dawn Litchfield Brown and this is my very illustrious partner, Dennis Nelson, always here to
Good morning.
shed some good news. Yes, good morning, good morning. Actually, I have an announcement to make. This is unfortunately just to our clients, so everybody else has to plug their ears. We are having an 80th birthday party for someone sitting right next to me.
I don't know anybody who's 80.
Yeah, but guess
I'm
what?
in total denial.
It's you.
Oh,
And
no.
it's going to be on November 1st, 5 to 9. So please save that date. We're going to send out some save the dates and some invitations. But I think the theme is going to be, unless it changes, and this is all surprise to Dennis, post-pandemic prom.
Post-pandemic prom. Okay, so it's not going to be, how the heck did you get to be 80?
No, it's going to be post-pandemic prom, so people can wear long dresses, prom dresses, they can wear cheerleader outfits. We'll go back to the 50s if you want.
And we probably won't have to wear masks?
Well,
we'll have to wait and see on that
it's not a
one.
masquerade party, but you know that's not a bad idea.
Party.
Maybe we'll change it to a masquerade party.
A new meaning to the
Oh
word.
my gosh, that might be, but you know, most masquerades have little nose holes and stuff. Anyway, we're going on and on. Okay, so I'm going to talk today a little bit about taxes and hedge funds because I became aware of someone doing something with their own hedge fund that I wouldn't have recommended. First of all, if you have a hedge fund, and most people know hedge fund is not like a normal brokerage account. You get a statement from the hedge fund manager. You usually can't take money out more than once a quarter, if any. You're all kind of lumped together with a bunch of other qualified investors, and that's the key. And they're usually
full accounts, yes.
Right. So they're hedging. They're usually trying to do something that is contrary to the market, but not always. Right?
Not always.
Not always.
That's right.
The key thing is hedge funds. Now that you're 80, Dennis, I have to spend more time on these things. They don't step up at death. Sorry.
Yeah, we have to consider that.
We have to consider that. So get out of your hedge fund. No, that's not what I'm saying. So hedge funds, when you die, normally if you had a stock and you pay $10 for it and a person dies, the value of that stock steps up to $100 for tax purposes, which means you would only pay tax on the amount if it was sold over $100, right? You don't pay tax from $10 to $100. In a hedge fund, they don't file what's called a 754 election, which would qualify them to have a step-up election. They can do it, but they don't, because it means basically keeping a separate set of books for each of the investors.
Mm-hmm.
So almost no hedge funds step up on death. So if you had a hedge fund, right, you put in $1 million and now it's worth $3 million and you die, there's no step up in value. It's still going to be subject to capital gains tax when it's sold. So I think that's something people need to be aware of. Now, how do you get out of that? So if you decide you want to get out of your hedge fund, in light of the fact that we could be taxed very highly on gains over $1 million, anybody this year, whether it's a hedge fund or not, if you want to start taking some gains and stay under that possible new high capital gains rate, just don't take $1 million this year. Take $950,000.
Right.
Next year, take $950,000, and next year, take $950,000. So there are some ways to get around this possible very high capital gains tax as it relates to fairly liquid investments. A little bit more difficult with a house or something, but even with a business, you could do installment sales.
Sure.
So I just want to give people some outs.
Yeah.
Don't panic. Don't go and sell now thinking you're going to be taxed at 40% or 45%. That was my tidbit for the day. What have you got?
That's a very interesting tidbit.
It's lots of tidbits.
Lots of tidbits.
Tidbits together.
Love talking about taxes. Whoops. Don asked me to make some comments on some of the stocks that we have in the portfolio, and I think that's probably appropriate. And looking over the stocks that we do have in the portfolio in light of the pandemic and all that's going on around that, the economy slowing, speeding, slowing. Looking at the stocks in that light, our stocks kind of break down into three categories.
Okay.
There's the economy opening up category,
Right?
the infrastructure category, and of course tech.
Okay, now what do we mean by infrastructure?
Well,
I just had to throw that in, guys, sorry.
The big thing on infrastructure is the electric grid
Okay,
infrastructure.
so we're really talking about what all of us, or most of us think of as infrastructure, actual hard things.
Actual
like,
hard things.
Like roads and bridges and
Yeah.
but
Not,
the grid is,
not the social
yeah, and the grid,
infrastructure.
but the grid's kind of a new addition to the infrastructure.
Well, it is, and it's pretty apparent that our grid is antiquated and really not up to the task of this global warming thing.
Right.
That I don't think anybody would disagree with the fact that it's happening. Maybe not the same reason why everybody thinks it might be happening, but nonetheless, it is happening. And like last fall or last spring, I guess it was, Texas had a storm that practically shut down the whole state.
I know, that was amazing.
And we're seeing it all over and in fact one of the big stocks that has been an infrastructure stock is Generac.
Generators, guys.
Generators. Yes. I'm convinced that generators are the new appliance.
Yes, I have one.
That every stock is or every house is gonna have.
I have one, and it runs beautifully, but it doesn't put out any power, so I'm not sure what's wrong with that one.
Well, we got a problem.
I do, especially when I had no power there. It did not work. I was so proud of myself, got it going, plugged everything in, boom, didn't work.
Yep.
Anyway, I digress.
Anyway, I'm personally convinced that this is really going to be the appliance of the future. Look at the fires in California. They've shut down the electric grid on whole counties.
Right.
What happens to the medical system? What happens to the refrigeration system when they're trying to store drugs, critical stuff?
So basically, generators and batteries, though, right?
And batteries. Batteries are kind of new to that, but the generators are there. And of course, some of them run on gasoline, and some like
mine. But they also need a battery.
You got to be able to start them.
Right.
So anyway, so that's been a good. We don't own it at the moment, but we have owned it in the past, and we probably will own it in the future.
So we have a fairly conservative portfolio given the economy, and how are we faring against everybody else out there as far as our returns are going? I mean, our risk levels are about 50% less. But how are our returns?
We're doing about 75% of the Dow right now.
Which is what we shoot for.
Which is what we shoot for. We want large, solid companies, prefer to be dividend payers, and of course we write options on those positions.
Well, and some portfolios don't have any options, so that's a choice people can make. Right?
And that's true. That's true. Another infrastructure stock is Eaton. They make components for electrical components. I mean, they make the hardware that goes up on the telephone poles and all that is involved with getting electric transmitted from one place to another. First Solar, we own First Solar. This stock may not be really for the faint of heart. It seems to go up and down a lot.
Right.
In relation to the latest news on is the infrastructure bill actually going to be passed and.
Well, the concept of solar is perfect. I mean, it works really well. What makes it complicated or fluctuates so much is the political side of it and how it integrates with, the companies, the counties, the government. And that's what kind of messes the whole thing up.
Well, and there's also
as usual.
There's also the geopolitical part of this. We went through a solar build out here a decade or so ago, and the Chinese ramped up their production of solar panels and virtually wiped out our industry. Well, I can tell you the next build up on solar panels is not going to allow the Chinese into our market. Period.
Vermont is covered with solar panels. What used to be beautiful green pastures is now solar panels. And I said, can't you at least paint them green?
Make them look like trees.
God, Well, they do that with the cell towers in Vermont. They look like pine trees, which is kind of cool, actually.
They do. No.
Anyway, I think I don't know. You almost done there? 'Cause we're running out of time.
Yeah, we probably are running out of time. The opening up the economy would include stocks like. Disney, Starbucks, maybe Teradyne. Teradyne makes robots. and that might be apropos for the wages that are going up.
There was actually on CNBC this morning, they had, people inside of robot bodies. So that, it was actually really cool technology. It was sort of like, I don't know if you ever saw Avatar, but the guys get in these big metal bodies.
Right.
They weren't that big, but it was like a cross between Avatar and Transformers, right? But they could get in, and so somebody who couldn't pick up 500 pounds, they need 5 guys to coordinate it,
Right.
or the lifter could just pick it up
Just pick it up.
with this. But they were actually people inside of them. It was very cool.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen the website on Boston Scientific that has the dog that runs around and all this really kind of neat stuff is going to happen.
It's all neat and it's all scary. So everybody remember November 1st. That's a birthday post-pandemic prom. Or possibly a masquerade party. We haven't got this down yet. But make sure that's on your calendar. And if you can't be here, if you're far away, like we know some people are out in Idaho who's watching this, we'll probably have it on some sort of a video thing. What do you call it? I don't know what you call it, but something that other people can see it if they're not there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds great.
All right, well, this is Money Matters. Most of all, most importantly, you matter. Have a good and safe week.